Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about unlock your brain's power every morning. There's a hidden switch in your body, one you probably didn't know existed. It's not a pill, not a supplement, not a secret biohack. It's the sunlight. And it's the very first thing your brain is craving the moment you wake up. When your eyes open in the morning, your brain is waiting for a signal, a command to shift from sleep to alertness. That signal is light, not just any light, not the blue glow of your phone, not the warm flicker of your bedside lamp. What your brain is designed for, what it evolved to respond to, is the broad, full spectrum of natural daylight. The moment natural light hits your eyes, something extraordinary begins to happen inside you. Inside your skull sits a master clock called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This isn't science for science's sake. This is the control tower for your body's rhythm. And this rhythm determines when you feel awake, when you feel tired, how much energy you have, and how clearly you think. That clock is set, calibrated by sunlight. When sunlight enters your eyes, it doesn't just let you see, it communicates with your brain, telling it the day has begun. Wake up, focus, prepare. Cortisol, often misunderstood, is actually your natural alertness hormone, and it spikes in a healthy way when your eyes meet the morning sun. Not late at night, not from stress, but from light. It gives you clarity, it gives you momentum, and it tells every part of your body to sync with the day ahead. And here's the thing most people miss. This only works properly if you get that sunlight early, within the first hour of waking. Miss that window and your brain stays foggy. Delay it and your focus suffers. Skip it entirely and you risk wrecking the rhythm that governs everything from your mood to your immune system. You don't need hours. You don't even need perfect weather. Just step outside. Even on a cloudy day, outdoor light is dozens of times stronger than indoor light. No window, no artificial bulb, no desk lamp can replace what the sky provides. 5 to 10 minutes. That's all. Face the light. Let it fill your eyes, not directly into the sun, but let the sky reach you. Let nature turn on the circuits of your brain that were built for performance. This is how warriors rise, not with alarms screaming, phones buzzing, chaos spinning, but with clarity, with intention, with the signal that has called humans into action since the dawn of time. Morning light. People chase mental energy with caffeine. They chase mood with medication. They chase focus with apps and hacks. But here's the truth. If you're not getting morning light, you're starting the day with your brain dimmed down, running half sped, foggy, reactive, no clarity, no precision, just noise. But once you make morning light your ritual, something changes, not just in your mood, but in your results, in how you show up. You become sharper in meetings, more present with your goals, more connected to your discipline. It's not motivation, it's neurology, the kind that's been waiting in you. And if you've ever felt like the day runs you, like you're stuck in a loop of distraction, delay, and low energy, know this. It might not be your mindset. It might not be your discipline. It might just be that you haven't let the light in. Because before the world grabs your attention, before the rush, before the to-do list, your brain is asking for just one thing. Not more sleep, not more stimulation, not more scrolling. Just one thing to activate the entire system that drives your day forward. Before you check your messages, before your feet even touch the floor, there's something deeper waiting inside you, something primal, something powerful. It's not your thoughts, it's not your plans, it's your breath. And the way you breathe in those first few moments can shape your entire day. Breathing is the only function in the human body that operates both automatically and voluntarily. That's not a coincidence. That's design. That means it's the gateway between your conscious mind and your subconscious state. It's the bridge between your body's chaos and your mind's control. And when you learn to take control of it, not just to breathe, but to breathe with intention, you gain access to something most people never even tap into. inner command. What happens when you wake up in the morning? Your heart rate rises. Your brain is shifting gears. Your nervous system is deciding whether to lean into fight or flight or to enter a state of calm, centered alertness. That moment is fragile. It's either hijacked by stress and noise or shaped by awareness. And the fastest way to shape it is through your breath. Most people breathe fast, shallow, and unconsciously, in bed, on their phones, at work, in traffic. They don't even know that their breath is creating tension in their body, that their nervous system is on edge, that their mind is running in loops of anxiety, urgency, and distraction. And they wonder why they can't focus, why they feel restless, why they burn out before noon. But here's what most never realize. Just 60 seconds of intentional breathing can change your entire physiological state. Not in theory, in biology. Long, slow inhales through the nose, controlled, smooth exhales through the mouth. 4 to 5 seconds in, 4 to 5 seconds out. No force, just rhythm, just presence. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that tells your brain, I'm safe, I'm focused, I'm calm, but ready. It lowers cortisol spikes. It stabilizes your heart rate. It turns down the inner noise and lights up the areas of your brain responsible for attention, learning, and decision-making. And in those early minutes of the morning, when your mind is most vulnerable to distraction, this practice becomes your armor, your anchor, your edge. You're not gasping, you're not reacting, you're choosing. You are training your body to follow your lead. You are telling your brain, we start this day with clarity. We don't panic, we don't chase, we lead. You don't need a special room, you don't need silence, you don't need perfection. You just need the discipline to slow down, to be present, to own the space between your thoughts, because that's where your power begins. High performers, elite athletes, warriors, creators, they all know this. Before they act, they breathe. Before they speak, they breathe. Before they lead, they breathe. And not just as a reaction to stress, but as a foundation for control. Because breath is more than air. It's a message, a signal to your mind and body that you are in control, not your stress, not your deadlines, not the noise of the world, you. When you make this your morning ritual, just 2 minutes of deliberate breathing, you are programming your nervous system to respond, not react, to lead, not follow, to operate from intention, not instinct. And that changes everything. Your conversations feel sharper, your body feels lighter, your decisions feel grounded. You're not just present, you're prepared. And as the minutes pass and the day begins to pick up speed, you'll notice something that others won't. You move differently, you think differently. You feel steady while the world rushes. Because you didn't wake up in chaos, you woke up with breath, with presence, with power in its most ancient form. The body was never meant to wake up and remain still. From the moment you open your eyes, your biology is begging for motion. Not just to burn calories, not just for health, but to activate something far more essential, your brain. Morning movement isn't about fitness. It's about switching on the mental engine that drives your focus, memory, and creativity throughout the day. When you move your body in the morning, even just a little, you're not just waking up your muscles. You're waking up your mind. You are engaging systems that have been dormant through the night. Blood flow increases. Oxygen moves more freely. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine begin to rise. These aren't just mood chemicals. They're the very tools your brain uses to concentrate, recall, and process information. Movement is the trigger. It tells your brain the day has begun. Let's sharpen up. It primes you for learning, primes you for action, primes you for confidence. And this isn't something only elite athletes need. This is for anyone who wants to show up strong, mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and neurologically ready for challenge. You don't need a gym. You don't need perfect weather. You don't even need a full hour. What you need is activation. A few minutes of intentional motion, stretching, walking, squatting, even bouncing on your feet can have profound effects. It isn't about intensity. It's about engagement. As your body begins to move, your brain responds with clarity. It gets rid of the fog. It organizes your thoughts. It wakes up parts of your cognition that would otherwise remain asleep until much later in the day, if they wake up at all. What most people don't realize is how deeply movement and memory are linked. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for storing long-term memory, becomes more active after movement. When you're physically engaged, your brain creates stronger neural pathways. Information sticks, focus improves, learning accelerates. This is why walking meetings often produce the best ideas, and why the most powerful insights come not when you're sitting still, but when you're in motion. Your ancestors didn't solve problems sitting. They moved, they walked, they acted, and the brain developed around that, wired to fire more efficiently in a state of motion. When you deny your body movement in the morning, you're not just limiting your strength. You're slowing down your cognitive system. You're choosing fog over focus, confusion over clarity. And if you're the kind of person who feels stuck in your head, overthinking, anxious, restless, this is your tool. Motion grounds thought. It pulls your mind out of the swirl of uncertainty and into a state of direction. It tells your nervous system, we're not frozen, we're moving forward. Because in physiology, movement always beats hesitation. And in life, action always beats anxiety. The power of morning movement is in its simplicity. You don't need to run a marathon. You don't need to push limits. You just need to connect your body to your brain, feel your feet on the ground, feel your breath sync with your rhythm, feel your energy begin to rise. Not from a stimulant, not from a screen, but from within. Every stretch you take, every step you move, every muscle you activate, it all sends one powerful signal to your brain. We're alive, we're alert, we're ready. And your brain, in turn, rewards you with sharper memory, with stronger focus, with the kind of mental clarity that can cut through distraction, pressure, and fatigue like a blade. Your brain doesn't speak in words first, it speaks in images. Before a thought becomes a sentence, before an idea becomes a plan, your mind forms a picture, a mental snapshot of what could be. And that picture holds more power than most people ever realize. Because when you learn to visualize with precision, you begin to take control of how your brain organizes reality. Every morning, before the world distracts you, before emails, news, and notifications flood your awareness, your mind is in a highly impressionable state. The circuits responsible for imagination and memory are active. Your subconscious is listening. And this is your window. This is when you install the blueprint for your day, your habits, your goals, and your future. But vague thoughts lead to vague actions. Unclear dreams lead to unclear effort. That's why the power lies not just in visualizing, but in visualizing with precision. You don't just see success, you see the process. You don't just dream the outcome, you rehearse the execution. Because the mind cannot consistently act in alignment with what it hasn't clearly defined. Vague goals confuse the brain, but specific, detailed visualization programs it. The difference between wishing and becoming is detail, clarity, intentional imagery. When you visualize your day with exactness, what you'll do, how you'll respond, how you'll carry yourself, you're doing more than daydreaming. You are training your neural pathways. You're strengthening the circuits in your brain that govern action. Your mind starts to believe the picture, and the body, incredibly, begins to respond as if it's already happening. Heart rate shifts, focus sharpens, confidence rises. You are, in essence, rehearsing excellence, The world's top performers, whether in sports, business, arts, or leadership, don't leave their results to chance. They don't hope things go well. They see it first, in their minds, again and again, with such clarity that when the real moment comes, it doesn't feel like the first time. It feels like the next time. It feels like the next time. Precision is the fuel. You don't just say, I want to be focused today. You see yourself sitting at your desk, back straight, phone on silent, brain locked in. You don't just think, I want to be confident. You see yourself walking into the room, standing tall, speaking with certainty, making eye contact, and owning your space. You don't imagine success as a vague mountaintop. You see the staircase, every step, every action, every challenge faced with resolve. This is not some abstract theory. This is neuroplasticity in action. The brain adapts to what you repeatedly imagine. And the more precisely you visualize, the more efficient those mental circuits become. You don't just become motivated, you become ready, primed, aligned. Your brain can't tell the difference between vividly imagined action and real action. That's the secret, and that's the advantage. Every morning, while others react, you're rehearsing. While others guess, you're preparing. While others drift through their thoughts, you're constructing mental blueprints that your body will follow without hesitation. And this is not about fantasy. This is about mental training. You don't just visualize wins, you visualize struggle. You see distractions, temptations, setbacks, and how you respond to them with strength. You don't avoid failure in your mind, you rehearse how you rise from it. That's precision, that's power, that's building a brain that doesn't just wish, it executes. Even 5 minutes of deep, focused visualization in the morning can alter your emotional state, your belief system, and your actions. You shape how your brain anticipates the day. You write the story before it begins. And as the day unfolds, you'll notice something remarkable. Situations feel more familiar, decisions come quicker, your posture is stronger, and your reactions are calmer. Not because the world is easier, but because you saw it before it came. The sun doesn't just rise to light the world. It rises to awaken you. Morning light is not just a poetic image. It is one of the most powerful, natural tools your biology responds to. Your brain, your mood, your energy levels, your alertness, all of it is deeply influenced by your interaction with light, especially in the first hour after waking. And yet, most people never take advantage of this daily miracle. They step into artificial glow, reach for their screens, and wonder why they feel off, unmotivated, or mentally sluggish. But when you learn to master the morning light, you activate a deeper rhythm inside your body, one that governs your clarity, your drive, your performance. Human beings were built to rise with the sun. That's not philosophy. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates sleep, hormone production, and cognitive function, is heavily dependent on exposure to natural light in the early part of the day. The first 30 to 60 minutes after waking are critical. This is when your brain is trying to figure out what kind of day it's in for. Is it morning or night? Is it time to conserve energy or prepare for focus and movement? When you expose your eyes to sunlight shortly after waking, without sunglasses, without glass between you and the sky, you send a clear signal to the brain the day has begun. That light enters your retina and travels to a part of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which governs your body clock. This isn't random. This is the control tower. And once it receives that light, it starts a cascade. Cortisol, often misunderstood as a stress hormone, rises in a healthy spike to give you alertness and drive. Melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep, is suppressed, and a timer begins. Your brain starts counting down to when it should wind down and rest again, keeping your sleep cycle in check. Miss that light, delay that exposure, and your system falls out of sync. You feel groggy longer, you crave more caffeine, you can't focus, your sleep gets thrown off at night, and the cycle continues. But just 5 to 10 minutes of real sunlight, direct exposure to the sky, even if it's overcast, can correct that. It doesn't have to be complicated. You step outside, you look towards the horizon, and you let nature calibrate your mind. And it's not just about alertness. Light affects mood. That morning exposure increases dopamine levels, giving you a sense of drive, positivity, and well-being. It improves serotonin, which helps regulate emotion, and sets the stage for healthy melatonin release later at night. Your mental state becomes lighter, your sense of possibility rises, you're not dragging yourself through the morning, you're rising into it with biology on your side. Most people wait for motivation to strike, but motivation is deeply biological. It doesn't come from scrolling through your phone in bed. It comes from syncing your body and brain to the rhythm it was designed for. When you anchor yourself in morning light, you're not relying on discipline alone. You're engineering your internal state to support your goals, your mindset, your clarity. This is why people who walk, stretch, or simply sit in morning light often report feeling more grounded and focused throughout the day. They're not just practicing a healthy habit, they are triggering a system of neurochemical alignment that creates momentum from the inside out. No energy drink, no supplement, no mindset hack can replicate what the sun does for your brain within minutes. Even on cloudy days, the amount of natural light outside vastly exceeds the artificial light inside. Stepping out into the real world tells your brain, we're awake, we're alive, we're ready. And when you do this consistently, day after day, your body begins to anticipate the rhythm. Your sleep improves, your focus sharpens, your mood lifts. You begin to carry a sense of timing that few people ever develop. Not rushed, not sluggish, but synced with the power that fuels all life. The first hour of your day is not just about what you do, it's about what you allow in. Most people don't realize that their brain is most vulnerable, most programmable, and most sensitive in those first minutes after waking. It's a golden window, open, raw, and unfiltered. Whatever enters your awareness during that period has the power to set your emotional tone, your mental clarity, and your internal chemistry for hours, if not the entire day. This is why it's not enough to just wake up early. You have to guard your morning inputs like your future depends on it, because it does. When you wake up, your brain shifts from the delta waves of deep sleep into theta and then into alpha states. In this alpha state, you are between consciousness and subconsciousness. You are awake, but not yet fully logical. The critical filter of your mind is lowered. It's during this transition that your brain absorbs without resistance. It accepts suggestion, imagery, sound, tone, language, and energy almost without filter. So if the first thing you see is a screen filled with chaos, comparison, negativity, or noise, you are programming your nervous system to respond with anxiety, urgency, and mental clutter. You must decide what deserves space in your mind when your mind is most impressionable. The moment you reach for your phone, you are not checking the world. You are inviting it into your nervous system. The emails, the missed calls, the news notifications, the algorithm-driven content. It's not neutral. It's shaping your mindset before you've had a chance to set your own. You haven't even had a full breath and already your body is reacting. Already your mind is comparing. Already your spirit is behind, chasing a day that hasn't even started. Guarding your morning inputs means making a conscious choice about what enters your ears, your eyes, and your thoughts before you've anchored yourself. If you start your day with intention, silence, reflection, light movement, gratitude, visualization, or focused reading, your brain begins to tune itself to a higher frequency. You don't wait for the world to give you direction. You create your own signal, and that signal carries through the rest of your day. What you feed your mind in the morning is what your subconscious will echo all day long. Words become patterns, images become expectations, energy becomes identity. That's why your morning playlist matters. That's why your first conversation matters. That's why even the tone of your inner voice matters. You are either feeding fear or feeding focus. You are either installing confidence or installing confusion. And every input counts. If the first thing you hear is negativity, whether it's from someone else or your own internal monologue, you are essentially training your brain to search for more of it. The reticular activating system in your brain is like a spotlight. It searches for what you've told it is important. If you begin your day with urgency, panic, or self-doubt, your brain will continue filtering the world to confirm those emotions. But if you feed it calm, clarity, vision, purpose, your brain starts scanning for alignment, opportunity, and strength. Guarding your morning inputs also means understanding that not everything deserves your attention, especially not first thing in the morning. The world will offer you endless distractions. Social media, messages, endless scrolling. It's not information, it's infiltration. It sneaks past your guard while your mental defenses are low. And by the time you realize it, you've surrendered the steering wheel of your thoughts to someone else's agenda. The great mistake is assuming you can always reset your mindset later, but by then, your emotional chemistry is already altered. You've already burned mental energy on content that didn't serve you. You've already trained your brain to seek novelty over depth, reaction over reflection. Instead, take command. Create a mental perimeter around your morning. Delay the noise. Dismiss the unnecessary. Give yourself the gift of inner space before outer demands arrive. Protecting that first hour is not about being disconnected from the world. It's about connecting deeply with yourself before the world gets its grip on you. It's about mastering your energy, your input, your focus, and your emotional tone. So you don't walk into the day as a reactor, you rise into it as a creator.